Welcome to our channel. Today, I will share you a daylight-saving light. Twice a year, millions of Americans adjust their clocks for a ritual that's as much a part of the national routine as spring blossoms or autumn leaves. Daylight saving time, often shortened to DST. While it might seem like a minor inconvenience or a welcome chance for an extra hour of sleep, the practice of changing clocks has a rich and sometimes controversial history, and its future in the United States is far from certain. Let's start with the basics. In the United States, daylight saving time begins on the second Sunday in March. At precisely 2:00 a.m. local time, clocks spring forward by 1 hour, instantly transforming the middle of the night into 3:00 a.m. This shift means longer daylight hours in the evening, often celebrated as a sign that warmer, brighter days are ahead. Then, on the first Sunday in November, clocks fall back 1 hour at 2:00 a.m., returning to standard time. This annual cycle has been in place for decades, but not everyone in the country participates. Hawaii and most of Arizona opt out of daylight saving time altogether, staying on standard time year-round. Their reasons vary, from historical climate considerations to public preference. The origins of DST in the US date back to World War I, when it was introduced as an energy-saving measure. The reasoning was simple. By shifting more daylight into the evening, people would use less artificial lighting, conserving precious resources for the war effort. After some stops and starts, DST became a fixture during World War II and was standardized nationally with the Uniform Time Act of 1966. Yet, even with federal regulation, states retained some flexibility, leading to the patchwork of participation seen today. As the years have passed, the rationale for DST has evolved. Early arguments for energy savings have been called into question by modern research. Today's appliances and electronics use power regardless of the sun's position, and studies suggest that any reduction in lighting costs may be offset by increased use of heating or air conditioning. Public opinion, too, has shifted. Recent surveys show that a majority of Americans are weary of changing their clocks twice a year. In fact, a 2025 study found that 54% of Americans now favor staying on standard time all year, rather than switching back and forth between standard and daylight time. This growing discontent hasn't gone unnoticed by lawmakers. In recent years, Congress has debated several bills aiming to end the time changes once and for all. The most prominent of these is the Sunshine Protection Act of 2025, which proposes making daylight saving time permanent across the United States. Supporters argue that permanent DST would bring more evening light for recreation, boost the economy, and reduce confusion. Critics argue that darker mornings for much of the year could pose safety risks, especially for children heading to school. As of now, the Sunshine Protection Act has not been enacted into law, and the familiar clock changes continue, but the conversation is far from over. Beyond convenience and preference, there's a growing body of evidence suggesting that daylight saving time may have significant health implications. Recent research has uncovered that abolishing DST could prevent over 300,000 stroke cases and more than 2 million obesity cases each year in the United States. The disruption to sleep patterns caused by the clock changes can lead to short-term spikes in heart attacks, strokes, and other health issues. The Monday after the springtime change in particular, has been associated with an uptick in accidents and health emergencies as our bodies struggle to adjust to the lost hour of sleep. These findings have added urgency to the debate and given new weight to calls for reform. But why do Hawaii and Arizona abstain from DST? The answer lies in geography and climate. Hawaii, located close to the equator, experiences relatively consistent sunrise and sunset times throughout the year. The benefits of shifting daylight are minimal, so the state opted out. Most of Arizona, with its hot desert climate, prefers avoiding extra evening heat. Longer evenings would mean higher air conditioning costs and more time spent indoors, counteracting any potential benefits. The rest of the nation, however, continues to toggle between time zones, with all the attendant confusion. The time changes can create logistical headaches for businesses, airlines, broadcasters, and anyone who relies on precise timing. They also complicate everything, from scheduling meetings across different states to setting reminders for medication. For many, the process is a minor nuisance. For others, it's a source of genuine frustration. Despite these challenges, daylight saving time has its defenders. Advocates point to the joys of longer summer evenings spent outdoors, the potential for increased physical activity, and the boost to businesses that thrive on after-work traffic. Some studies suggest that crime rates dip during DST as fewer crimes are committed in daylight. For parents, the extra light in the evening can mean more time for children to play outside. And for some regions, the tradition has become a cherished marker of seasonal change. Still, the tide of public opinion appears to be turning. As Americans become more aware of the health risks and diminishing benefits of DST, calls for change are growing louder. Lawmakers at both the state and federal levels are responding, with several states passing resolutions or laws expressing a desire to end the biannual clock changes. However, under current federal law, states can choose to remain on standard time year-round, but not to adopt permanent DST without congressional approval. So, what does the future hold for daylight saving time in the United States? While the Sunshine and Protection Act and similar proposals have yet to become law, the debate is very much alive. Public health experts, educators, business leaders, and everyday citizens continue to weigh in, sharing their experiences and preferences. Some are passionate advocates for keeping the current system, while others see it as a relic in need of retirement. As this conversation unfolds, the most important thing is for Americans to stay informed and engaged. Whether you relish the extra summer sunlight or dread the disruption to your sleep, your voice matters. The annual ritual of changing the clocks may seem inevitable, but history shows that traditions can change when enough people demand it. So next time you're resetting your clocks or savoring an extra hour of sleep, remember that you're part of a national conversation that's still evolving. What began as a wartime measure has become a symbol of how we adapt to changing times and new knowledge. The story of daylight saving time isn't just about clocks. It's about the intersection of science, society, and the rhythms of daily life. And with ongoing research and legislative efforts, the next chapter may be just around the corner. If you feel strongly about daylight saving time, one way or the other, consider sharing your thoughts with your representatives, your neighbors, and your community. The future of timekeeping in America is still being written, and everyone has a role to play. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest stories.